Um, Mrs. Parks, COVID is having a resurge. It is, we've set record levels in recent weeks. Um, what should be done? What can be done, in your opinion, the state government may have some involvement with?
So obviously, from the very beginning, and I think this all started, in March of 2020, Arkansas probably should have done more in the beginning to try to get the pandemic under control. But here's where we are. I mean, and this is a very tough situation that we're in. The good thing is that we now have the vaccinations that we did not have in the very beginning. And so the doctors and the experts are telling us now that is our path to getting this pandemic under control and giving us back the freedoms that we enjoyed pre-pandemic. And so I believe that's the answer. I believe the more folks that we can get the shot in their arms and get them vaccinated, the better off we'll be. Our schools need to be open. The experts also tell us that kids need to be in school. That needs to happen for parents and grandparents too. And so our path to being able to do those things again and to be with our families is to get vaccinated.
So more specific to this race, why you instead of your opponent?
I believe that I'm the choice for this position and the choice to be the state senator for District 7. My position is that instead of looking for tax cuts for wealthy people, that we need to focus those resources more on our children first and foremost. We need to give children quality pre-K, affordable pre-K, or free pre-K so that when they start kindergarten, they are prepared to be in school. We need to fund our education system. We need to pay teachers what they're worth, quality teachers and a quality education for our children. I believe, and this campaign believes, that children are entitled to health care, adequate health care, affordable health care, quality health care, that they're entitled not only to K through 12 education, but when they get older to a higher education or technical school in an affordable way so that no child in Arkansas is saddled with a lifetime of student loan debt. Children are entitled to good food to eat, a safe place to lay their head at night. So that's the first thing, is that I believe our resources can be directed towards strengthening and protecting children. And that's the thing that we have to look at first. This campaign, and I also believe that as a state senator, that we could use resources for parents, because strengthening children also means strengthening their parents. Instead of, and I think we've talked about this before, instead of building bigger jails and prisons, let's look at directing those resources at ways to help people and not lock up nonviolent offenders. We, certainly want to put resources in specialty courts, but even before we get that far, let's look at community-based treatment programs for folks so that they can get the help they need. I've heard from families who, finally have a family member who wants to get treatment, who's reaching out, trying to get the help they need, and they just can't find the resources that they need. So I believe that we need to direct some state resources and use taxpayer money smartly so that when we help parents, when we help children, we all succeed. You've heard my position on veterans and how we have too many of our heroes getting back into the community and not having the resources they need. We need to look at state resources for reentry programs, for getting them the mental health that they need, the health care that they need, and treating them like the heroes that they are, and welcoming them home like they should be. My platform also includes strengthening children, strengthening families, also means helping our aging Arkansans. I've said this before, we're very lucky that my mother lives so close to us, but I've heard from aging Arkansans who can't afford the medications that they need, who can't get the health care that they need, who don't have the transportation that they need to reach these services. And so I believe our state resources can be used in ways that really, truly help the people of District 7. I have been a child welfare attorney. I've been a longtime public defender. I've been an advocate for people for 21 years of my career. And I believe I can be a strong advocate for the people of District 7. I went to law school as a single mother, and so I know how hard it is sometimes. And I'm willing to fight for families of all shapes and sizes. We have all types of beautiful families in this district, and I'm willing to fight for them and be an advocate for them.
Okay. The district you're running for is changing. I need to explain that a little bit. You're running in a special election to replace Senator Lance Eads, who resigned,
Right.
take another job. You're running to represent District 7 as it exists now, but that district's been changed. The border's been changed. It's going to be smaller geographically than it was before. I believe you live in what would be the new district, and I'm going to ask, if you are elected to this position, if you would be interested in running again.
That's a good question. This has been a very short timeline on this campaign, and so we have been really focused on the timelines of this campaign and on February the 8th. I love this district. I love the district that it will be, and I think I will also live in that same general area. I feel like it maybe cuts off more of the rural parts of the area, which is very interesting, but let's hold off on a final answer for that for February the 8th. But I would certainly, if elected on February the 8th, I mean, I'm here to fight for families, and that's not going to change come February the 8th. So, and certainly not if elected.
Okay. The election, as you mentioned, is February the 8th. Early voting is February the 1st.
Yes.
And right after the election, and presumably right after the winner is sworn in, the fiscal session, the first session of the legislature, the session that concentrates mainly on budget issues, is going to begin February the 22nd. So yeah, I guess, are you ready to be, are you ready for that?
I'm ready. I'm ready. We will do what it takes to be ready to be in Little Rock and start representing the families of District 7. So,
is there any particular issue with the budget that you'd like to see some attention paid to in the fiscal session?
Well, and I talked some about this in your previous question. Just, I think we really need to look at those resources for families and how to be supportive of them. We've seen a lot of suffering, for lack of a better word, during this pandemic. We've seen people who are food insecure. We have seen people who are living in their cars. We have seen people not able to get the adequate healthcare services they need. So I would say we definitely need to look when we're talking about budget and expenses and finances at ways to support those families in our district. And I would certainly want to have those discussions.
Okay. There are some proposed constitutional amendments placed by the legislature on the 2022 ballot. One of them would allow the legislature to basically call itself into special session. The current law, only the governor can do that. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say our Constitution as it stands doesn't allow for that. We need to continue to respect our Constitution. I think to this point, if the people wanted to have a full-time legislature, they certainly would have had that in our Constitution. I want to be in Little Rock representing the families of District 7, but I also want to be home, being with the people in District 7 and visiting with constituents. So that would be my position at this point. We'll see. we'll see how things kind of play out. But
About
I mean, we have to respect the Constitution.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and in fairness, I'm going to go ahead and mention the other two. Ask if you have any strong feelings about those. One would raise the threshold for initiated acts and for voter and for petition initiated constitutional amendments would require 60% passage instead of just a majority.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that there's a proposed freedom of religion amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Being a lawyer, you may want to comment on that. But anyway,
I think you want to start that question again. It's the state constitution of the U.S. Constitution.
Oh, did I say? I'm sorry, I got confused.
Start that question again.
Let me start that question again. In fairness, there's two other legislative proposed amendments to the state constitution. One of them would require a 60% threshold instead of a simple majority to pass a publicly initiated act or constitutional amendment. The other is a freedom of religion amendment, which you may be familiar with, but any strong thoughts on either of those?
I don't. Honestly, I need to look at them and read them very carefully. I know there have been maybe movements in other areas to change, for lack of a better word, the definition of majority, but let me look at those. And maybe we can discuss them.
All right. And finally, one specific to this district, one of the candidates who made the runoff in the Republican primary said that this whole region needs to take a closer look at the Taneytown landfill, that it doesn't have infinite capacity, and that's a specific problem that the region and the state needs to take a look at. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, that's interesting. And I actually live pretty close to the landfill. I live south of Taneytown, and I know it's been here quite some time. Arkansas is the natural state. So if Taneytown wants to be a player in the region's tourism, I think they are going to have to look at just ways to deal with waste and future waste. I think we're going to have to find, just safe, equitable, aesthetic ways to deal with waste. And so I think if in the legislature, my commitment would be to work with the leaders in Taneytown just to make sure that they're getting the resources they need so that they can do the things they feel best are for the people of the area. And so I think it is an interesting issue and will come up more in the future.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
All right.
Yeah, I've got confused on that Constitution thing because I think the proposed amendment.
Yeah.
I mean, the first amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah. But it's a process. What's proposed is for the state constitution. Anyway, Lisa, thank you so much. We appreciate you jumping on with us today.
Thank you both so much. Thank you for having me. And this will be over soon.